everybody, welcome back to another section of my tutorial. Today we're looking at visualization in Excel. We're going to be looking at pivot charts in Excel. Look at pivot charts, how to visualize all these data sets. Be able to see it visually. Alright, so we can just, firstly I would like to be fast about this. You just highlight this whole cell, right, and you go to insert. You insert a pivot chart, this pivot chart. So you're going to insert the pivot charts, right, and you can insert a pivot chart and a pivot table at the same time. If in my class I'm not touching pivot table, so in my next class I'll teach you pivot table. All right, that was the next thing I'm going to teach you guys. All right, so existing sheet, come to maybe somewhere like here, and okay, now this whole thing just make it easier for you to see your chart, and like in case you have a lot of visualizations to do, in case you have a lot of things to do, or you cannot just go straight into making chart like this, because it's not going to give you a clear visual if you highlight all this and just insert a normal chart. You need the pivot chart to be able to filter some data and use some. All right, so let's say we are looking for the university that have the highest students. Let's go to axis. You know what axis is? Axis. All right, so let's say, and let's use the name as values. So it's going to collect the names of universities that have the students. All right, so you can see that this is my pivot table here. This is what we call a pivot table. This is a pivot table here. Now this is the pivot chart. Let me shift it a little bit. Now this is the pivot chart. Now I can explain with this. This is the pivot chart. All right, so the pivot chart just tells you everything you have done on the pivot table, but visually. All right, now you can see that University of Benin, University of Benue, University of Delta, University of Lagos, University of Niger. You see, it's not writing the whole names of the people in University of Benin, because obviously in data set you can have 2 or more people going to University of Benin, but it just calculated the numbers based on their name, like maybe divide number 1, another person number 2, University of Benin. That's what I tell you about chart. Chart is very, very interesting. So what you can do here, right, what you can do here is to go to this part. If you want to remove the blank, because I don't like this blank over here, and in the university, go to this part, then press here, then remove the blank over here, right? You on select it, then you can see that it changes automatically. Now you can see that University of Lagos have a total of 3 students. University of Lagos, 3 students in University of Lagos. The next highest should be this, I think so, should be this and this. They have 2 students, so you can see that the University of Lagos have the highest students. So now for this chart you can still change it if you like to other kind of charts. We have other kind of charts with other kind of color. You can use this in case you can use this, sorry, you can use this, sorry, let me remove this. You can use this if you like this. It depends on what you are doing and how professional you want it to look. So anyhow, you can use this. There are different kind of charts you can use to represent what I just so today's topic will be under charts, different kind of charts. I'm not going to go deep into pivot table and pivot chart today. I'm going to just tell you how to bring out the pivot chart. So in our next class we'll have to go deep into pivot table, arrangement of pivot chart, then we'll go deep into data cleaning, then visualization fully. All right, so this is it. You can use this. All right, you can even go to the color parts and press color, so you can change the color if you want. You can use this, you can use this, see, you can use this. So it just depends on what you like and your kind of thing you like. All right, so you can just leave it. Let's do Ctrl S to save it. All right, this is another part. Then also we can still highlight all this to create another pivot table, because we want to say, okay, what states have the highest students. Okay, the highest student come from what state, or let's say the ages. All right, let's say the age. No, let's say sorry, let's say this the states that have the highest number of students. All right, so you go again to insert. Where is insert? You have to insert to pivot charts. all right, into an existing worksheet. This tells the Excel that okay, you don't want it to go to a new sheet, you want it to be in the existing worksheet. But you can go to a new sheet, it will now carry all the data set to a new sheet. But if you stay in this existing worksheet, or you can even go to another worksheet that is existing, right, and place your data set there, the pivot table there. All right, so you can just press here. Now you see location is now visualization. Here's the location here now. Okay, now you can see another pivot table command. These are pivot charts. All right, so let's say the state of origin should be at the axis, right? And let's say let's use the full name as values. So you can see that Enugu has 4 students coming from Enugu State, and does not mean that they are going to University of Nigeria. Or just say that 4 people from all these competitors are going to Enugu State. Now you can use the university as a filter. Okay, let's use university as a filter and say let's see. So we have here now. Now we see that you can use university as a filter. Let's say we want for only University of Benin. Let's see how many University of Benin. So University of Benin. Now you can see that only Edo and Imo have somebody going to University of Benin. You get. Now you can still look for others. You can still look for, let's say, University of Benue. Now you can see that only Enugu have look at, you have somebody from Enugu State going to University of Benue. That's where filter comes in. Alright, that's where filter comes in. You can use all if you like. So now you are saying that no filter, apply no filter. You can see, so you can also change this. You can add some things if you like. You can add the title, like the chart title is already there. Alright, so we have come to the end of this class in Introduction to Charts in Excel. I would like you guys to follow, to like, to subscribe rather, and also share this to people that are interested in analysis. So in our next class we'll be looking on pivot table and how to use pivot table, so watch out. If you have any question, don't forget to put it in the comments. Bye.